Hello, welcome
Alright,
to episode
hello.
17 of the Why Question podcast.
17.
We do this every week.
Yes. And I will keep doing it every
Wow.
week until we stop.
Yeah, well,
Like,
yeah.
imagine we hit like 50 or 100. We have to do something for like 50 or 100, surely.
Yeah. Damn, we're almost halfway to 50. That's pretty crazy. And
But
I'm,
how
I'm
long is
talking about my
50?
age.
Yeah, that too. Actually, yeah, you're halfway
I
to
don't know why,
50.
I'm just reminding myself of that. Wait,
That's
how
crazy, bro.
long is 50 weeks? Well, that's just under a year. I don't know why, I was just about to Google it. There's 52 weeks in a year.
Oh, actually, that's not even that long technically. I
No.
thought I mean episode 50. I was like, oh, that's like 5 years, but it's not even.
You thought there was 10
No,
weeks in it? Okay, that was it.
No. I for some reason in my head like 50, like one per week, 50 episodes. I was like, that's like such a long time. I mean it is, but
It is still kind of that'd be
it's
pretty
just
cool.
it's
Yeah,
not
episode 50
as
is gonna be epic,
untainable.
man.
It's not as untainable as I kind of first thought.
We should do it. Maybe for episode 100, we do a drunk one because the idea was birthed when we were drunk.
Oh yeah, true. I'm fine with
The
that. I'm
app
fine
would
with
go
that.
crazy, and that would be
It's
after this
true.
year as well. So I'd be drinking again probably. Anyway,
Yeah, and then I'll be in my peak physique.
true. We can ruin it all in one night. Yes.
So you
Anyway,
gotta live a little bit. Right,
yeah.
let's get on topic.
Today, why
Happiness.
do we seek happiness?
I
God damn.
remember when you pitched this idea to me first, and immediately my first thought was like, what an obvious question. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously we seek happiness, but then I started thinking about it, and I realized not everyone thinks about constantly like seeking happiness, depending on what your situation is in life. Because I remember after saying it, I've like talked to so many people, obviously like throughout my life, and I remember there's been multiple occasions where I've talked to someone where happiness hasn't even like been a
A
topic
motivating factor, yeah.
of their like being. Like they never thought about happy. They obviously they were in a bad like mental state, so the thought of like happiness didn't even like enter their mind.
Yeah,
And when
that's
I started
crazy.
thinking about that, I was like, actually, I mean, it should be a very natural, obvious thing to be like, oh yeah, obviously you want
Hmm.
to search for happiness in your life, because that's like, why wouldn't you? But then when I started thinking about it more deeply, I was like, well, a lot of people don't. Like a lot of people don't
Yeah, it's just like they're
seek that.
conditioned. They just they do. It's that whole doing everything just out of fear more than doing anything
Yeah,
to actually feel happy. I think I was thinking about it as well, in the shower, and I was like, I think first it's like we need to define what it is. I think we need to have like
yeah,
an agreed kind
that's
of
true. That's
definition of
true.
what it is, and then we can figure out why people would attain to it. Because I think it's very different for different people. I think the search for it, because some people's
I think that
happiness is
depends.
probably
Just
like moments or something. Like some people probably think happiness is
no, I think
moments, and
regardless of how you feel about it, happiness is just one definition, which I mean, the kind of depends what you how you describe the definition. But happiness is just the feeling of kind of not being sad in a way.
just feeling good. Yeah, feeling good, like a
It's just
positive.
about feeling positive and good about your
Yeah,
life and about like your situation. And
yeah,
happiness isn't like, I mean, let's say I want to go to Japan, right? I go to Japan, I come home, I'm like, oh, I was so happy I went on that trip. That doesn't mean I'm genuinely happy in my life.
yeah,
It just
yeah,
means I
yeah,
was
yeah.
happy about that one thing happening, and I could end up going back to my sad life of just not
True.
having anything else, happiness-wise. But that those moments could be enough to have a positive outlook on life and try and like search for happiness. But it doesn't mean that you currently are
Yeah,
happy or
I
that
think
you're
yeah,
like happy
actual
with where
kind
you
of
are.
happiness is just in the. It's only in the present moment. Like to be happy, you have to be happy now, and feel good
No,
now. I think.
I think you can have a. I mean, it depends. That part depends on who you are, as in the sense of, I think you can genuinely be happy with your life, even in unhappy or like sad times.
Yeah,
You can have a genuinely outlook on life of being like, oh, I'm in a situation where I don't have to worry about like this, and this. Let's For most people, it's going to be like you're financially stable. It doesn't mean you're super rich, but it means like if anything happens, I know I'm okay. That usually fosters people' ability to genuinely be happier in their life on a wide basis. Obviously, there's still up and downs. You can still have like sad episodes. You can
Yeah,
still
it's just like
experience sad things, but it's just your overall life quality and your overall like state of being is in the more positive direction than the negative direction,
yeah. I think it's hard
which I
to
think is
kind
very
of
obtainable.
almost put it's not quantifiable. Like there's no kind of line
No,
where,
no, no, no.
oh yeah, I'm happy now. It's just that general positive
Yeah,
kind
yeah,
of
and
look
I
at.
think that just kind of more comes to people's stability in life, in their own lives, whatever that means, like however you define that to yourself, but just feeling safe and secure about your own life typically leads
Do
to
you think
being like
happiness
happy to some extent.
happiness and freedom can go hand in hand? Do you think happiness
Yeah.
could be the idea of being being free? And the way I define free would be not free where you can just do like whatever you want, but more free in terms of kind of mentally free to the point where whatever does happen doesn't actually affect you that much. I think that kind of freedom could also be defined as happiness.
I mean, I think that's like comes with being happy
Yeah,
with your life.
it's like
That's what I'm saying.
interchangeable kind
That's
of thing.
kind of like actually kind of what I said earlier. Is like generally speaking, if you're happy in your life, even if there's something that affects you negatively, you're able to kind of just
Like internally, it
kind of
doesn't affect
dodge
you.
it. You just dodge the
You
unhappiness.
dodge
You
it.
like duck and
Yeah,
weave it.
yeah. It doesn't
You're
make
like,
you
okay,
act in a certain way.
yeah, this bad thing happens. I just go, you know what? That's a bad thing. I'm just gonna let it like go past me and just not focus on it.
Yeah, I think yeah. So it's like almost mental freedom is could be the same as happiness because I think
Because
what
I think that comes first though. I think you have to have the mental state to be obviously you have to have the mental state to be secure with
yeah
I mean yourself, your situation, knowing that you can kind of like handle whatever comes at you, right?
yeah that's what I was gonna say. Like moving on, like would you say I would you say happiness is you can do you find it externally or internally? Because I think a lot of people
Both.
think oh when I get this, when I have this, I will
Oh,
be
I see
happy
what you mean.
kind of
I
thing.
understand the
Oh,
question.
my life right now, I'm not
Yeah.
happy because I don't have all this money and stuff like that. But
I don't know if it's a term, but I kind of want to. I just want to call it materialistic happiness.
oh yeah, no, that
Uh,
makes sense.
yeah, it's not. Obviously, it's materialistic. It's not gonna last for a long time. It's gonna bring you like ups in. It could be a depending on when it happens or how often it happens. It could definitely be like a good motivation or a good like booster to your general situation. But if the only thing you're
Yeah,
chasing is like materialistic happiness, or you like you kind of mentioned, let's say you're like, oh, to be happy in life, I need a
and
Lamborghini.
yeah, it's
It's like
like not
when you get
because
that
it's not
Lamborghini,
actually
you're gonna be
yours.
like,
The
all right,
next
but
thing,
what now? Like what now? Okay,
no,
now I need a mansion.
yeah,
It's
no, I
like
need another Lamborghini.
that's not that's not really the point. It's like
Yeah, I don't
the
think
point
that's
is
true
more
happiness, is it? The
no, that's
materialistic
not happening.
happiness.
You just I don't know.
That's
There could be a
egotistical,
multiple.
kind of.
There could be so many different reasons for why you choose that as your goal. Not that specifically, but like something materialistic. Oftentimes, I feel like people just don't really focus. They've kind of got it misunderstood what they actually want in life.
Yeah,
Because I think most people deep down do search for happiness in the sense of feeling secure, not having to worry about stuff and things like that. But a lot of us don't realize that that
you're
doesn't
searching
just
the wrong place, I think.
yeah you don't get that from just getting this one thing in life from
Yeah,
money. I mean, obviously money's like the huge factor here because you can't do shit without money. That's just how it is. All
no,
right, we live in a society. That's how it is.
yeah,
But that doesn't mean that
you can't be happy.
money can literally buy you the state of being happy. Because then, if you lose that money, or if you
Which you
do,
will.
like, Yeah, well, yeah, which you will at some point. Or let's say you crashed a fucking Lamborghini, right? And now you're like, oh, everything has just collapsed. Whereas if you were actually genuinely happy, you crashed a Lambo,
It
you
wouldn't
go,
affect you.
all right, well, I had my fun with the
Yeah,
Lambo. It was fun. I obtained it. I got it. But let's move up to like a different car or like something else that's less risky and less damaging to me if I crash it. Right? I mean, that's just you had your
yeah.
fun with
It's
the
just
Lambo. It's time to
like
move on.
I think the key is
Uh,
searching internally rather than externally, because the people who
yeah,
search externally never truly. It's like you're saying, yeah, you get to it, and then it's the next thing. Then you the external things will
yeah.
never make you happy. If you keep searching, it's like an itch you can't scratch. You get there and it's like, oh damn, it's moved. So it keeps going. It
Yeah,
keeps going.
exactly. The goalpost is like, oh, you score one goal, and it's like, wait, hold on, I didn't
You
score
don't
it. The
even
goal
score the
just
goal.
moved.
Yeah,
Like
it moves when the ball's
the
like an
you're
inch away from
shooting
the
at an
line.
open goal, and just before you hit it, the goal just moves like 800,000 meters backwards, and you're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Where's it gone? Like,
That's
why is it
yeah.
gone all the way over there?
That's what searching for happiness externally. Literally, that's a good analogy. The goal was just get propelled backwards.
Propelled so far, and it's like almost as far. It's just actually not like that. It's just it's far enough to the point where you can still see it,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's so far that you couldn't
You'd never be able to
possibly
kick the
hit.
ball there. Yeah,
You'd be no chance in any like universe could you possibly hit it, but you could see it. And I
yeah,
think a thought that should enter my mind when you talked about like external, internal.
yeah.
There is no chance that external happiness could ever go to internal.
No,
I
yeah,
don't
I
think
agree.
there's a possibility that external could go to internal. Internal could go to external,
That's how it
guaranteed.
works. Yeah.
Like guaranteed, that's how it works. But external to internal is never going to happen. It's like it's not possible. It's just not going to
Mm.
happen.
Yeah,
Because
it's like
again, you're focusing on the wrong thing.
I think if you, it's that kind of yeah detachment and being happy with where if you find happiness inside where you are, wherever you are, it doesn't matter about the external things. Then the
Yeah,
external things come, and
yeah, yeah.
either way you're happy anyway. It's like good things will happen, and you're oh cool because you're happy. And
You
bad things
can
will
want to
happen, but
see
then you'll be happy. It doesn't matter. Like
exactly.
you just get on with life. I think
But
that's
if you
kind
do it
of
the
what
opposite
happiness
way,
is. Yeah,
if you do it the opposite way, then again, you just say you get the Lambo, you get the mansion, you feel nothing from it
and you're
after you get
attached
it.
to it. Yeah,
You work, you probably, I'm not saying you don't, I mean, you probably work really hard towards the goal and you're like doing as much as you can to reach that goal. But when you reach it, there's nothing behind it because the focus has always just been to obtain it.
yeah.
So, oh, you've obtained the goal, you're
One
there.
one thought I had, I think earlier when I was right, I don't know, it was today or yesterday. I was like, to live a truly fulfilling, like happy life, you have to be present in your life. You have to be here and now and present.
Yeah, yeah,
However, when you attach yourself to expectations and outcomes and things further down the line, or you're living in the past, you're literally pulling yourself out of the moment. Like if you're attaching yourself to okay, one day I'm gonna get this, or I need to do this, this, and this to get the Lamborghini or whatever. I need to work, do this. It doesn't matter how I feel. I just need to get here, and if I don't, then I've failed or whatever. It's like
yeah,
by doing that, by living attached to these outcomes and even yeah past situations and things that you still hold in your mind, by attaching to it, you're just pulling yourself out of your life. You're literally not living in the moment. You're living in your mind. You're limiting and putting
well, yeah, yeah,
you're literally closing a lid on your life in those moments. I think that is not almost the opposite of happiness. You're completely restricting your experience. But by having
yeah,
those goals, but not attaching yourself to it, not giving everything to it, but having those goals, but then focusing on exactly what you're doing right now, that is going in the same direction as the goal, but putting your all into say the work you're doing on the day, just do like giving your best to it, not with
mm,
an expectation of I'm doing this because I want to make this much money. It's like I'm doing this now because I'm happy, I'm enjoying doing this right now. That is like I think that's almost the essence of happiness, and that kind of mental freedom element of happiness. I think I think that's like almost my personal why I kind of seek happiness. That's what I'm seeking anyway. And the reason I want to seek that is because I want a fulfilling experience where I'm living present and not focusing on things that don't exist and things that are like far in the future or in the past.
Yeah,
That's
I
like
think.
my like going back to the title of the episode. Like that's my why to seek happiness. And I think a lot of that's probably different to a lot of people. People probably view it like happiness very differently, away from that kind of mental freedom idea. And I think other people's whys and just I think the general like you know general mass of people do kind of chase that external happiness, but from a lot of the people I do kind of
Oh,
talk to,
100%.
and I think the wife of those that mass and that kind of way of thinking is very subconscious and egotistical because it comes from beliefs of having to attain something because of social view, how people are going to look at you or having enough money.
I
It's all to
think.
do with society and beliefs and
Yeah, I think a lot of people's perception of what happiness is has been completely destroyed by social media.
100%.
Because we see, I
We
mean,
see too
just imagine
much.
like you're 10 years old, and you see all these people be like flaunting their cars, their houses, their vacations. All you're able to think about is like, okay, these people are like happy because they're doing all of these things. I just need money to
Yeah,
do those things. Like that's the only way to be happy is just to live
yeah.
that life.
Those beliefs get
And that's how
ingrained.
everyone starts thinking when you've been on social media for so long. You just go, this thing is what makes me happy. When you don't realize that, I mean, first of all, those people behind those pictures are usually very insecure people. They're usually very unhappy about the situation,
Yeah,
but they're trying to project happiness by
yeah.
doing all these like
You
extravagant things.
they control the way they look on on
Yeah,
social media.
exactly.
They
But it's
want it
not
to look
actual
good
happiness.
to obviously
Yeah,
get people to look at it. It's
uh,
just the game, isn't it? But yeah, that
yeah,
induces so much comparison.
and I think I mean, back in the day, right? You always said like if you enjoy like your day-to-day job, like your daily work,
Hmm.
that's like step one almost to becoming happy. And I still think that holds true because you spend so much of your life,
Yeah,
so much of your day having to work in some form, like some capacity, right? You have to work to get money to survive, whatever. You had to do that before money even existed, so it's not like that's a new
it's
concept.
a human.
So if the,
It's literally
yeah, a
just being
human
human.
basic human thing of having to do is work, like to survive.
Any animal, I think. You have to
Any
you have
animal,
to
yeah,
work
any animal, any
for
human,
food
but we
and
are animals, so any
yeah,
animal
exactly.
has to work to survive and like live. But we have the unique situation where we can do something we enjoy to survive, which is, if you think about it, kind of insane.
Yeah, I think
You can do something,
even the
you
animal
can do
kingdom
something you
though.
enjoy.
I think
Eh?
the animal kingdom is better than us at enjoying their work. You
Yeah,
think
because they have less
they don't know what it is
less to think about. They don't
exactly.
know what it
They
is
don't
and
know what it is to
to
not
not
like
enjoy. But
the work.
you can do, but they still have to do like a bunch of like pure animalistic things, right? Like
Exactly.
we're
Yeah.
in the unique situation where you can live your life doing something that just constantly gives you enjoyment and live
Yeah.
off of it. I'm not saying that's the case for everyone. Obviously, you have like problems or you're gonna have certain jobs that you don't enjoy. But I still think that focus of everyone trying to find a job or something to do that they actually genuinely enjoy, at least to some extent, is I guess such a huge step
Yeah.
in the right direction
I
to
also
becoming
think
like more happier,
like
like content, whatever, with your life.
I because I've been thinking about this kind of a lot and speaking to a lot of my friends who always go on about how like if they hate their job and things like that.
Yeah,
And even my mum, like I think an example is like a few probably like end of last year, October, November. I can't remember when it was, but the concept of looking for something that you enjoy. I completely agree. Like, yeah, you want to do something you enjoy. But however, there's also I like to flip it and go, why don't you just try and enjoy what you're doing now? Like shift the perception, even if you think you hate it so much. That all comes from beliefs and judgment and the job in its. There's no job in this world that's inherently bad. It's always better than another job, and it's always going to be worse than another job. So I said, like, when
Yeah, that depends on human to human.
and it's your personal preference, how you are, but that can be changed. And what I said to my mum, there was just one co-worker annoying her, like, because that's how most jobs are. It's always the co-workers that are annoying or something like that. And I said, right, if you can't control what your co-workers are doing, you have to. The only choice you have is to shift your own perception. You either wallow and you keep saying and keep convincing yourself, I hate this job, I hate this job. If it's hard, but if you shift your perception to one of gratitude and focus on the things that you're actually grateful for and the positive elements of whatever it is you might be doing, there's always positive in everything when it comes to job. There's always one little thing. It doesn't matter how small, but you can focus on it. I was like, this co-worker, the example was he kept asking questions, really silly questions. He was not very good at the job, and he was irritating. And Mum was like, what, fuck it, this, the other, like I can't do my. But I was like, look, shift your perception. What about it being grateful that you're teaching them? You're helping someone, taking some gratitude from the fact that you're just helping another human being. And I think if you can focus on, and yeah, and then eventually she made the effort to shift the perspective a bit. The job gets more manageable. It's that mental kind of freedom I go back to. It didn't affect her as much. And then from that, I mean, she ended up landing a new job anyway, because it was like, good things just kind of happen to you if you're happy in the situation you are now. You just have to kind of trust that the good things will come. And it's the same with me as well. I shifted my perspective to just be kind of happy with where I was. I got a part-time job that people probably wouldn't be happy with. They'd probably want to get more, but I was like, you know what? I'm great. I'm here. I'm happy. And then all of a sudden, I've got a job that I enjoy even more now. But I'm not here
Good free food.
focusing on exactly. But I'm not here like going, okay, what's the next thing? Where can I get to? What can I do after this? How can I make more money? How am I gonna?
Those people not. Oh, actually, I have a very very good example of the like hyper successful person but not happy.
Yeah.
My grandparents. I mean, everyone was more like tightly connected back in the day because there's less internet and stuff like that. So my grandparents have like a lot of like different people that they know, like connections, and especially, I mean, in Norway we have a huge like cabin culture. So you have your house, and then you have a cabin on the mountain somewhere that you go in the winter because it's cold and sad anyway. So you have like a nice little cabin in the mountain where there's more light actually, and like there's more light because there's snow. There's way more snow, so there's actually more light, and just more like happiness involved in it. It's just like a getaway from like normal life. And when they built their cabin, that like whole community usually gets quite like tight knitted. And one of the couple that they know, the husband or the man there, he's like a ultra successful like ship industry kind of owner, manager, like whatever you. I don't know exactly what he does, but I think he owns like a bunch of like ship industries or has like a huge stake in a lot of them, right? Very very wealthy, hyper successful, but he is never ever happy with the current situation he is in because his mentality is just work, 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 work. How can I get more? How can I be even more successful? How can I get even more money? And so he's in a constant. Even now, he's almost a pensioner. Like he's almost retired, but still, before he's like fully retired, his mind is just still constantly chasing. Like, how do I get more? How do we keep going? And I've through talking with my grandparents, they've just said that he's like he's never really content with where he's currently at. He's just constantly is working, constantly is chasing like the next thing, and because of that, especially his kids, like his children and grandchildren, say that they usually like they almost never see him. They don't really want to like go like visit him anymore because he's never really like he doesn't really take that much appreciation in meeting family because that's not part of his mindset.
It's that balance. I think that's another key thing when it comes to happiness.
And he has like
I fully respect wanting like that ambition. However, when
Yeah, that's the
it's
reason he
the
has so much money,
attachment,
right?
it's
Because
the
he's
attachment to
yeah,
it, like we were talking about earlier, and
exactly.
the putting all the energy into the future. He's not present. He's all he's doing is living in the future to get more.
And
And
he
when you
has
get
like
there, it's just an
5
endless.
fucking houses. He's got like 20 cars.
Yeah,
He's got so many things, but he's not happy with any of them.
yeah, and that I
And
think
I mean, obviously they don't even use like half of the
it's
stuff
like
they own. So it's like,
it's
what do you
almost
really need?
it's just an endless uh, treadmill, like the carrot on the stick. You're never gonna get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Or the
when
goal, like I said, like the goal is just
yeah,
it's just
and
constantly moving.
if your happiness is based on the external things like that is the goal just keeps moving. The carrot is always right in front of your face, but you're never ever gonna reach it if that's your happiness, if that's what it
And
is.
obviously, the reason he is so hyper successful is because he has that mentality. So I mean, if
Yeah,
if you want to become that rich, you have to do those things. But the problem is, people don't realize that you sacrifice so
everything.
many things
Hmm.
to become that hyper successful.
That's why
And
not many
even
people
and you
are.
can't yeah, and you can't I think the biggest misconception people has or have not have is that even when you get to the point of being hyper successful, that doesn't mean you can stop. Like you
Yeah,
can't just then go, okay, now I'll enjoy my life. That doesn't work because then everything crumbles. Like you have to constantly keep working.
yeah,
Like I said, for that guy that my grandparents know, he's like I'm pretty sure he's meant to be retired. He's still working. He's still
yeah.
working like almost every day so much. He doesn't stop because that's the mentality you need to have. And I don't think he's ever taken a day or like a moment in his life where he stopped and go, okay, maybe let's maybe right we have enough, right?
Yeah, it's
Let's
like good job.
step back. Let's like now enjoy life a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. I think that's crazy.
It doesn't happen because you don't have that mentality. Like the mentality is so different, and you can't just switch that off because then
Hmm.
you don't get to that point. So if people are like, oh, I want to have all these things, all these cars, all these mansions, all this money, but they don't want to realize, or they don't see, or they don't realize that you have to sacrifice so many other things that on the surface level might seem superficial, but to get to that point, you have to literally sacrifice it to the point where you can't go back. Like, you can't just not
Yeah,
have lived like 40 lives of just working.
no, that's
So
true.
you have to balance it. You have to balance it and
Yeah,
choose.
balance
Do you want to
is
be
definitely
do you want to
because you can still
be
be successful,
super? Well,
but
you can still absolutely,
you
and
don't
that's what
have to
people don't
be like
understand. You can be financially stable. You can be successful and still enjoy your life to
yeah.
like the fullest. Maybe not owning a yacht of like the highest caliber, but you can
But that
still
doesn't matter.
go places, travel. You can still have a nice house. You can still like do all these other things. Go to like extravagant restaurants and have like a nice evening, like enjoy things. Absolutely, by being financially stable. But if you want to be that ultra successful, hyper rich person, which you might think is happiness of like, oh, I can buy whatever I want, whenever I want, even if it's like 5 mansions in
Mm.
every different country. You have to have a certain type of mentality that doesn't allow you to be
You
happy
can't
with what
stop.
you currently are at. Like it doesn't stop. It's
Yeah.
just constant that that's just how they get there. And a lot of people just don't understand that
No,
discrepancy of
and
like,
even in terms of all the things, like even a lot of people don't really care about being hyper successful, but they still want to be, like you said, financially stable to go to the nice restaurants, get the a stable house, get. It's still things. It's still external things, and I think even to that extent, I think that doesn't matter as well. I don't think you need to give energy to any of that because it's
it
still
shouldn't be
things in
the
the.
yeah
It's still
yeah
you
it shouldn't
shouldn't
be the
attach yourself to it.
focus.
Yeah, you shouldn't attach.
No,
Obviously,
it
you
shouldn't
still
be
need
the
to kind
focus
of
or detachment.
logically plan so you can, like there's some common sense element as well. However, if you do detach from it, you'll get it. You get what you kind of deserve,
Yeah, because
and it will come to you anyway. If you're just focused on and
you
putting
start
your all
thinking
into what you're doing.
exactly. And the people like to say that okay, let's say like, for example in your mom's case, like the fact that she got like a job or like a promotion was it or something she actually wanted
Yeah, it's
instead.
like a different like company, but like same, just a
but
better situation.
just a better situation. And the reason why that happens when you stop thinking about the external factors and internal factors is because people pick up on what kind of person you are. So
Yeah,
when
hundred
you
percent.
start focusing on the internal stuff,
Subconsciously
you exclude it like a, or what's the word?
exclude.
No, not exclude. You uh push out like a sensation
Express.
of express. That's the one. You express a confidence in
Yeah,
yourself and like a mentality of just being a good hard worker of in your field, and people pick up on that very quickly. So if someone then comes along and gives you promotion, though that person could have been evaluating you for this position this whole time, and if you didn't focus on the internal factors, they could have been like, okay, this person is like unstable or
yeah,
they don't work properly, they suddenly go off the handle. Compared to if you focus on the internal stuff, they'll be like, okay, this person is hardworking, nice to work with, they do their job
pure
very well.
authenticity is key. That's what it
Yeah,
is,
and that can only come from your actual focus.
and
But
being focused on
basically,
the
what I'm trying to say
internal
is
state.
when people say that when you focus on yourself and things just kind of randomly fall into place, that's not the case at all.
It's not
They don't
random.
randomly fall into place, and they don't just appear out of nowhere. They would have been there the whole time. But people are very very
Yeah,
good at picking up on subconscious like
the,
clues in their head. Someone can literally not hire you in an interview based on just their feeling of like something just didn't feel right with the way they were
yeah, the
answering the questions.
subconscious word is insane.
And
Like
they
we are
can't
not
even
aware of
put
it
their fingers on it.
because it's sub awareness. It's below our.
But
We are
you
never
know it
aware of
yourself.
it.
You know it yourself
We
because
know
you
it.
do it all the time.
We know it. We feel it, but we can never intellectually understand what's happening
Yeah,
in the
and you don't know
subconscious
how to
world, and
properly even put it into words. But when you're
it just
focusing
happens.
on being the best version of yourself, people pick up on it.
Yeah, and they
People
don't
realize
realize they're
immediately.
picking. They don't
Yeah,
realize
they
they're
don't
picking up
realize
on
it,
it,
and then
but then
yeah,
it gets transferred into thoughts. Like they pick
and
up
then
on it, and then
yeah,
it
exactly.
goes
They
into
pick up
thoughts.
on
And
it,
I'm like,
but
oh
they
yeah, I
don't
like this guy.
realize that they pick up on it, and they're like, "Wait, this person is like very like nice to talk
It's
to.
like
They seem
vibes. It's
stable.
literally
It's
it's
literally they
it's a
get the
thing.
vibe of like, wait, this
It's
person,
good vibes.
I'm fucking with this person. Like this person is fucking yeah."
We're getting too passionate
We're
about
getting
happiness.
too passionate and too emotional. We didn't say anything in that like little segment, basically. But my point is just like I said, when you focus on being the best version of yourself, being happy, being like in a confident state. That doesn't mean you have to be like you don't have to be super cocky or arrogant or be like, oh yeah, I'm the best at this, because that's not confidence. Just being like, I know what I want to do. I know how to get to it. I know like what makes me feel better and not and blah blah blah. And you're able to just control your situation well. People in your life and around your life will pick up on it, and all of a sudden things just quote unquote seem like they fall into place. But it happens because you're focusing on the correct things.
Mm. Yeah, and I think that's yeah that's a good way to put it. And it's like linking back to the happiness element of it is yeah, when you look inside for the happiness, the external happiness or what you think brings happiness, it comes to you. And
Yeah.
but when it's the other way around, it's a constant chase, and
Mm.
chasing is I don't really know anyone that's happy just chasing things, you know.
No one.
But
You could pretend. You could
yeah,
pretend, and you can, like I said, which is what most people on social media do. They publicize their quote unquote happiness to the public to like maybe convince themselves as well in the process. But
true.
that's not that's not happiness at all.
No,
That's a
hundred
good
percent.
question actually. How do we not chase then? Oh, that completely depends on where you are in life, but it all comes down to like we talked about how you view life or how you view what you want to do in life or like what your goals are or whatever it is. You just have to fundamentally start changing the way you think.
It's the detachment from a goal. If you can detach from, you know, trying to get something by convincing yourself that you're chasing something, you all you're doing is accepting that you don't have it, and I think that's where like chasing happiness
Yeah,
is. It goes completely against what happiness is. It's something that only it can only exist now. You can never be happy chasing happiness, you know. And I think to not chase something, you have to be completely happy and present with where you are now, because chasing means you kind of want to be somewhere in the future. You want to be somewhere else. You chasing means you've valued a situation in the future higher than the value of the situation you're in now. However, the only one that exists is the situation you're in right now.
yeah,
And by chasing, you're just devaluing the present moment, which links back to what I said earlier about, you know, happiness can only exist now, and you're just limiting your experience because you're living in your mind somewhere that doesn't exist. And it's a hard path, but it's working towards shifting beliefs to those of, you know, revaluing the present moment and being grateful for what's happening right now, instead of giving all the value to the future and the things that you don't have yet.
exactly. And to answer the question coming in from Fuzzy, chasing, sorry, not just being stationary, not chasing is not like the way to go. You can absolutely chase for goals, but it depends on what the goal is. Like you have to set a proper goal to chase, or not chase.
It's
That's like the wrong
it's
word
not
for it.
chasing is attaching yourself to the goal, but you
Yeah,
can still
yeah. You
improve
moving forwards,
by
like
focusing
towards
on,
the goal, like just moving forwards towards the goal. You don't
yeah,
fuck the chasing word. Get that
and,
shit out.
and giving you energy to
But you have to
like what you're
the
doing.
goal has to be the right goal. And like Dee said, if you can't just be when Dee says like you have to be happy with where you are now, that doesn't mean all the external factors of like you have to be happy with being poor or happy with not having a house or anything like that. It's more on the inside of like what do I feel, how do I feel about myself as a person? Like what
Mm.
qualities do I have? Like what do I possess in my repertoire of knowledge? Do I have the degree I want, the job I want, like so on and so on? It's all these other things that doesn't equate to what you possess materialistic wise. It's about like you the internal factors that you have inside yourself, and it's then you need to set a goal of like where you want to, which direction you want to go in life, but not in the materialistic sense of like, oh, I want to have this house or I want to have this car or I want to have this thing. More of like a, I mean, for me, for example, in my case, it would be I want a job that I enjoy inside like IT, for example, programming or making games or content creation, whatever it is. I want something along those lines, which is why I'm doing a lot of things right now to try and go towards that direction. But I'm not chasing it in the sense of
Mm.
like, if I don't, let's say I don't manage to live off of being a game developer or content creation, I'm not like devastated, like, oh, this is the end of the world.
Yeah, you're not
I'm just like,
attached
all
to it.
right, that didn't work out. Let's just try the other thing. Let's just try programming or let's try whatever else. But you have to be also be realistic with yourself and just be. I mean, in this situation right now where I'm struggling to get a job, yes, but that doesn't mean that I'm depressed or sad. I'm just like, okay, right now I'm not getting a job. I don't have the stress or like the responsibility of having a job. So for now, I'm just gonna enjoy the situation I'm in. I can wake up whenever I want. I can more or less live kind of like
Sounds like you don't want
free
a job.
and stress free. So I'm just gonna enjoy that while it lasts,
Yeah.
because I know that it's gonna disappear. That I know that like lifestyle is most likely gonna disappear when I then get a job, which I also really want because I do have a purpose in my life and I do have like things I want to
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
achieve and do. But I can't push it. Like I can't force someone to hire me. So until someone actually does hire me, I'm gonna do all these other things that hopefully helps me getting hired, but I also enjoy doing. So I'm in this very like unique situation where doing the things I kind of enjoy on the side can also directly help me in getting like a job that I actually want. Which
Yeah.
I'm aware it's not everyone. Everyone can't be in that situation. But it's more the outlook on life. is what how do you perceive your current situation, and how are you like planning on moving in the correct direction?
Yeah, and I think having faith that it will work out, because
Have
the
some faith in yourself.
the thing is, yeah, having faith, you know, there's a lot of different versions of faith. Like you can have faith in so many different things. You've got religious people having faith in their religion and their ideas of God and things like that. However, I'll talk from my perspective. I have faith in kind of, it's a mix of myself and just the flow
Life.
of life, like the universe. Like I have faith that
Yeah.
things work out. But however, the thing is, the part of me that has faith in myself is because there's a part of me that's connected to the flow of life, right? It's like going back to the episode where we spoke about the voice and listening to the voice. The part of me that is the one listening to the voice is the one attached to the flow of life, the one who's conscious. There's a part
Yeah.
that's that self, that will is going to push me in the right direction in ways of intuition. Your intuition is so strong; it gently guides you, and that's how you move forward. And I think your ego will
That's
try and
kind of the
guide you.
subconsciousness.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between when I look at subconscious and the ego is almost like really loud and tries to direct you in. It's your thoughts. Your thoughts try and direct you in ways based off of what you like and dislike, and that's when
Yeah.
you get into problematic states, and that's when you can be chasing things and things like that. What I like to do is almost think less, and do you know when ideas just come to you? You would have felt it before, like when you just get an
Oh, yeah,
idea or
yeah, yeah.
something. When it's
That's what happened with my game.
intuitively, when it comes to you like that, that's kind of a different part of you, that away from the ego. That's a part of you that's driving you in a direction
Yeah.
that it's almost a feel. You can't really explain it. It's just a feel. It's like it feels good. Or when you're in like a flow state. Do you know when you're doing something, you're in flow state and it just feels good. That's almost the direction of life that I'm attaining to. And but the thing is, that's me. That's still a part of me, and that's where I have faith in myself. But it's not faith in myself in terms of faith in my ego, like my thoughts and my mind, which is finite, trying to direct me, because I don't really trust that as much now, because if I let my mind direct me with all the likes and dislikes all the time, I'd probably still be quite, like, say if you're anxious of things and you do everything in terms of out of
Yeah,
fear,
yeah, yeah,
you're going to be
yeah. I know
locked
what
in
you
your
mean.
room and stuff, aren't you?
Yeah,
But if you do it
yeah, I know what you mean. You
intuitively,
can't let that like direct you, but it's more to do with how you handle your current situation and what your
yeah.
focus is, and what your, I mean, ultimately what your kind of life goal is in that sense. And I don't mean life goal as in getting this certain type of job or this certain type of thing, but life goal of like what kind of life would you like to live? Like what kind of life do you want to enjoy or do you want to be in?
And you know, my favorite song is a J. Cole song, "Live Yours." It's so true. There is no such thing as a life that's better than yours, and it's just, I think that's a really good way
Yeah,
to live. If you look at your situation and say there is
that's
no
how
such
everyone should
thing
live.
as a life that's better than yours, even like your own life in the future, like there's no such thing as a life that's better than yours right now.
I mean,
It's
life
your life.
just in and of
It's your
itself, life
experience.
is beautiful, like
Yeah,
right? I mean,
you're
what are the chances that
experiencing
you're here currently? Exactly.
exactly. And I think
So there's, I don't
you're
know.
a
There's
you're literally your infinite energy just in a finite form. That's all you are. You, and that infinite part of you that has been here forever and will be here forever. Like the energy that makes your atoms, that is never going to be
yeah,
destroyed. That's literally you. That's a part of you. You are part of an infinite universe. You exist, and I think that is, to me, I'm just like, yeah, I'm happy about that. It's like we're just passing by, you know, and having that outlook has helped me kind of detach from the external things and realize I don't need to do these things for people to look at me, and I don't need, like, to
yeah,
have my family
exactly.
members say, "Oh wow, you're doing really well." It's like I don't really care about that anymore. Like I used to, you know, when I was trying to kind of do my make freelancing. I was like, yeah, I want to have my own business. I want to get, this much money per month, get this many. I think I was attached to the outcome. This was like last year. This isn't even long ago. But now,
Yeah.
I'm doing a full-time job. Old me probably would have gone, what the hell? You're like working full time? Why? You've got no time
That
now?
little money, huh?
It's like,
Fucking scrub.
but it's like me now. I'm like, this is great. My days are, I'm enjoying my days. I'm detached from anything in the future. I'm like, whatever will happen will just happen now, and I have faith in myself, and whatever will happen, that this job will take me somewhere. I have no idea where, but I know I'll improve, and things will just keep improving as long as I live now.
And then you play Siege and your happiness gets destroyed.
Yeah, the 2 weeks of getting hacked was great, to be honest.
Duality of
Duality
life.
man. Yeah.
Duality of man. No, the point is simply because I gotta go. I need to do I have to make some food and do some dishes. I'm getting hungry. But the point is just happiness, true happiness, which is like a saying that a lot of people have said before, and it sounds cringe, but it's true. True happiness can never come in the form of external factors.
Of things, yeah.
It's just not happening. It's not. It never will happen. It can't happen. It's just not. It's not how your brain works. It's not how we as humans function. Internal happiness is the only way, and will ever only be the only way, that you can actually reach true happiness, which is
Yeah.
you. In
It's mental
another sense of
freedom.
words, it's just your own internal state of being.
I think, yeah, and my definition of happiness is yeah, mental freedom, not being affected by whatever happens around you. I think that's being happy, and you can have, happy moments as well where things are, you have something
You can
fun
have
and
ups and
enjoyable.
downs.
But that's
Absolutely.
like chemically, there's always up and down. But I think
Yeah,
true
there
happiness
always,
is detaching from all of that, even the chemical part of you, detaching from it and not letting that influence your decisions and your actions as much as it can do if we basically just live in like an
you can still
animalistic
enjoy
nature.
life. You can
Yeah,
still enjoy
of
like the things
course
you enjoy.
you can enjoy it more if
It's just
you can enjoy every single moment of life rather than just
exactly, and
a few of them.
you can also get to a point because humans are advanced enough to where you can also filter out whatever you want to filter out as long as you get to that state. So whatever bad happens, you can just be like, oh, that was like an unlucky moment, whatever, brush it off. But then when a happy thing happens, or like let's say you go on a cool vacation, you can enjoy that to the fullest, and then also not have a huge crash because you'll be in a state where you realize that this is just like a temporary happiness thing. I'm just going to enjoy this to the
Yeah,
fullest. Then we're going to go back to normal, which doesn't have to be like from happy to sad. It can just be from happy to like slightly less happy.
and
But you
just
can still
yeah,
enjoy that.
just stay in the
Staying in the
present,
happy region.
and just I think immerse yourself in every part of your experience. Don't immerse yourself in an imagined experience that could happen if you get something. Immerse yourself
Yeah.
right now. It doesn't matter what's happening around you. All these things are just feelings and things. Like they're just waves going in
And
and
never
out.
compare
Even
yourself to others.
yeah, never compare yourself. And it's hard to do. Like it obviously all of this
Yeah,
these
it sounds easy when
it's
we
easier
explain
said
it
than
this way.
done. But it's
100%.
it's a process of changing habitual thought patterns, because if you're not living this way now, it's because you've got different thought patterns, you've got different beliefs, and it takes time to change it, and it takes work. It's like going to the gym. It's the most simple analogy. I use it quite a lot. It is like that. You have to train your beliefs in your mind to believe different things and think differently.
First time,
It's possible.
just getting through the first time is the hardest part, and the whole point that we kind of made this is, or made the podcast or talking about this is just hopefully we've just made you aware enough that
Yeah,
now you can handle it, or at
make your
least
own
think
decision.
about it,
Yeah,
or start working towards it. But sometimes just being made aware of it is enough for you to
exactly.
be more conscious, and then the wheels start turning. and
That's it.
eventually you'll end up where you get to. But sometimes you just need a little bit of a push or a little bit of an eye awakener of like, oh, I didn't think
Just a
about this
different
before.
approach, yeah, and just be great.
Which is kind
Like,
of why we made this. It's kind
yeah,
of also for our own
and
sake
be
of just being
grateful.
aware of things and being made aware of things by like talking about it. Because
Exactly.
it's like I said at the beginning of the episode, this question to me seemed like it was very obvious, but then when I thought about it more, I was like, wait, there's actually deeper things to this than what I
Yeah.
first thought about. And I'm assuming a lot of other people have the same thought about many other topics that we've talked about as well. Of like, wait,
100%.
this doesn't seem like something that is worth talking about, but then you start actually thinking about it, and here we are,
Little
an hour later.
spirals. Yeah. No, I think happiness is great. You know,
Yeah,
it's just life, isn't
that's
it?
the end of the episode. Happiness is great.
It's just be happy. You know, I think.
But yeah, that's the episode.
Yeah.
That's the topic.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for thinking. Thanks for existing.
Be
Imagine
happy.
if you didn't exist. Sorry,
Yeah.
save it for next week. I was just about to
We'll do that. We'll do that.
super
Imagine,
existential.
imagine if the other person didn't exist. But yeah, no, be happy.
Yeah. See you next week.
Bye.